boy, where you been? It's TeeJay the artist. You rockin' with me. You are the smartest, and we back with another video, man. Welcome to the NBA. Jimmy High Roller has done it again. I'm back with another Jimmy High Roller. Listen, man, Jimmy High Roller, you are doing your due diligence to the video community, bro. I'm a basketball fan, and you put a lot of things in perspective, bro. I've never seen what you look like. Maybe your profile pic, maybe that's you. But hey, man, I don't know if you ever thought about doing like podcasts or something. But bro, you'll kill it. Or you could just keep doing this. Whatever floats your boat, bro. Anyway, welcome to the NBA. Let's see what this video is about. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's get into the video. Yo. Could you turn me up in the headphones a little bit? Do it. I hope someone got Monks a TV, and they're watching this shit. They must be talking about Wemby. My roommate Ben has been unemployed for the past 3 months and refuses to look for a new job. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Phoenix Sun fans. Oh Lord, they don't like y'all. Players should be allowed to flop, but if they do, the other team gets to send in a goon to commit the hardest foul on the flopper player for no additional free throws. The flopper can decline the hard foul, but also decline some free throw too. You gotta fight one player at the NBA. You win, you take their contract. Who you fighting? Jusuf Nurkic. They can keep the money. Oh, they just wanna split them. Look how they looking at his ring. Oh, that's disrespectful. They don't have no ring, so that's disrespectful. Can't wait to watch you play tomorrow. Go. Oh, okay. Back in my day, when somebody's good at basketball, we just say, "Hey, that man good at basketball." I don't know if y'all ever seen like some of these tweets when a player is going crazy. They say some of the most off the wall, pause worthy stuff to basically say that this person is cooking. Stop this. Stop this. Can't wait to watch you play tomorrow. Go and got tissues and loach. Like, stop that. Please stop. Yeah, they gotta stop that. We used to just say that brother can ball. What's wrong with saying that? What's wrong with saying, hey, that boy be hooping? Hey, that boy good. Hey, that boy great at his game. What's wrong with saying that, bro? Ant lob to go bear.
He looks like Katie and Shaq mixed together, my dog. That's how I know you ain't watching the game. You're not watching the games, Pete. That's how I know you ain't watching the game.
Facts.
My brothers, it's a new NBA season, and you know what that means. New faces, new contenders, and a new batch of some of the most appalling takes you've ever seen in your life. And today, we're going to take a look at...
Can Brunson and Knicks meet title expectation this season? No.
Some of these takes. The good, the bad, and the downright atrocious.
Luka Doncic plans to make the preseason debut. Oh, he ain't saying that. All right, here we go. I need to hear these takes.
Today's video week, there are more than 7 where I can grab tickets by Jimmy tip-off by rummaging through any tickets only on CD.
Come on, let's get these takes, baby.
With the new NBA season starting off this week, I took it upon myself to ruin a good NBA tip-off by rummaging through NBA social media for the hottest takes I could find.
Hot takes, let's see.
That took me to some dark places, but a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I found some good ones, and I found...
Hot take. The media nerfed today's legends. The media nerfed today's legends. They nerfed LeBron, they nerfed KD, they nerfed Steph, they nerfed Kawhi, they nerfed because they continuously compare them to old stars that they do not want people to let go. The names that continuously rummage through everything. They don't want the legends of yesterday to die out. So they are nerfing today's legends by putting criterias on them. And if they can't reach them, they're not great. The media nerfed today's legends. They let yesterday's legends do, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got to reach nothing. They don't have to reach anything. They just can play great, do their thing, get a ring or don't get a ring, and everything cool. Today's legends, they just like, well, if they already got one championship, well, they got to get another one, and then I'll put them. It's always they got to do something else. Like I heard somebody say that, like when they was doing matter of fact, it was Shaq and Reggie Miller. They was doing like they was doing the Mount Rushmore of power forwards. And one of them put Giannis on their top 4. And somebody said they would have to get another ring. Giannis will have to get another ring for him to be on the top 4 power forwards. But guess who was on the list without a ring? Karl Malone.
Some other one.
But he got to get 2 of them. See what I'm saying? Media nerfed today's legend. Referees should get ratings on how they they should. Hottest hot take is just being people straight up stupid and wrong. Here's a hot take. Paul George is the GOAT.
And among these hot takes, here are some of the more interesting ones I came across. Starting with this fan who says Victor Wembanyama will not only win Defensive Player of the Year this season, he will win it for the next 7 seasons in a row. And as crazy as this sounds, I feel like it's not even out of the realm of possibility.
If Wemby plays 10 straight healthy seasons, he'll win 7 to 8 straight Defensive Player of the Year. Voter fatigue can't stop 4 blocks per game. That is true. That is true. Because Defensive Player of the Year, that's not the same as MVP. MVP, they can find their way around it because the year that Embiid won is because he won the scoring title. Even though Jokic was still averaging a dang triple-double. They still was like, well, he got the most points, so they can put their hat on that. All right, this is why. Defense can't vote fatigue defense.
At the moment, Victor's preseason odds for Defensive Player of the Year are -175.
You don't even get no money for that.
Over the rest of the NBA. And looking at his progression and his numbers from last season, it's clear why he's the heavy favorite. Here are the players with the highest stocks per game over the last decade. That's of course steals and blocks combined. And for even the biggest stat stuffers, averaging 3 stocks a game is a number that will earn you a DPOY, if not at the least get you in contention. The players who achieve this mark are
slowing down. Watch this bar.
Versatile big men, and the largest total over the last decade
belonging
to Hassan Whiteside in 2016 with 4.2 stocks per game.
Wemby 6
until Wemby blew that and every other total out of the water with 4.8 stocks per game.
I thought it was gonna be. He almost got 5.
Those were his stocks as a rookie. Here's his number from last season. But stocks, although enough to persuade some voters, aren't necessarily a great measure of a player's defensive impact. What are good measures, however, are metrics like crafted defensive plus minus and on-off splits. How big of an impact are you making on defense, and how does your team perform when you're on the court versus off the court? And here is every player in the league last season who logged at least 1,000 minutes charted according to those 2 metrics. This group here in the top right corner are the players that thrived in both of those defensive metrics. Draymond Green, Rudy Gobert, Alex Caruso, and of course, Victor Wembanyama, the best defensive player in the league in just his 2nd season. But in the future, Wemby will be competing against his peers, the players his age. After all, the kid is only 21 years old. So if we limit this chart to players no older than 25, well, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, winning the
y'all better
winning it 7 times.
Y'all young bucks better learn how to play some defense.
Times in a row are 2 completely different things. Even if a player deserves an award, voters' fatigue may end up being his biggest obstacle. However, Wemby's gap on the field may just be big enough to overcome this. In a recent survey, GMs across the NBA were asked who they felt was the best defensive player in the league. And to no one's surprise, it was Victor Wembanyama, winning 80% of the votes. Now, what is surprising is that in the 23 years that this survey has been conducted, no player before Wemby has ever been regarded as the best defender in the league with such an overwhelming majority. The highest Giannis ever got was 48%.
There go Dwight.
The highest Ben Wallace ever got was 38%.
Orlando
KG,
Magic.
44%.
Orlando
Kawhi,
Magic.
67%. Dwight Howard, arguably the greatest defender of the 21st century, managed to get 78% 58% of the votes after winning his third straight DPOY. And then there's Victor, entering just his third season in the league. So if winning the award is just as much about convincing fans and voters of your merits as it is about the actual impact you have on the game, then you might as well ship the award to Wemby's house right now. But the one thing that could prevent him from sweeping this award for the foreseeable future is the very reason why he didn't win it last season. The kid was dealing with an injury. He missed too many games, and he was ineligible for the award, which is a very real possibility as to why he may not end up winning it in future seasons. But as long as he's got 2 good knees and an 8-foot wingspan, it's hard to imagine anyone else earning the award over him for quite a while. So, as crazy as this claim looks, this is a good take. Now, this next take comes from Bill Simmons in a recent podcast he did with Zach Lowe, discussing the future of Nikola Jokic's legacy if things fall in his favor this season.
Is there a star player with a bigger legacy shift brewing on a pot on the stove than Jokic this year? Because if they win the title and he wins MVP again, I think he's indisputably one of the best 10 players ever. I think that has to be the outcome. I just don't see how he's not on a top 10 list after that. He has to be.
I think top 10 all time. He'll probably be there without a ring. Without another ring, just off the simple fact of him averaging triple doubles at the big man spot. Has never been really done before like that. Being a point center, you know what I'm saying? Like, without a ring, I feel like he'll still get there. I feel like the real take is when he said undisputably. Like, when you know how names, when you think of a top 10, Jordan, LeBron, they on there. I can't believe that people got Kobe outside of the top 10, but it's some names that are just solidified in the top 10. Jordan, Braun, Magic Johnson, they're solidified in there. You know what I'm saying? Kareem. They're like half your list already solidified, but I see what he's saying. He's trying to get Jokic in there with another ring. I feel like some people probably already got him in there, but the undisputable part is where the take really resides.
But if he gets the second one, the names he's next to immediately, not next to like, oh, 3 more years, it's next to immediately are like the holy pantheon of NBA players.
He has to be with Bird and Magic at that point.
Yeah.
He's next to them.
Yeah.
Now, there's a really big if going on here. If Jokic can win another title this season, which in that case would undoubtedly be paired with a Finals MVP and another regular season MVP to go.
I hate it when he did that to the Lakers. You can guard them. You can guard Jokic for 23.5 seconds. That last 0.5 was a step back off the backboard behind the neck 3.
Along with it, would that make him not just top 10 all time, but even creeping near top 5 territory, right up there with Bird and Magic? And to me, this is a no-brainer. But to my surprise, this was a scorching take for some fans. Many fans would still have him outside of the top 10, somewhere between 12 and 18, which is absolutely absurd. It's tough to make a top 10 list that's agreed upon, but there is a consensus top 12 that pretty much every fan agrees on. And it's these 12 players in no particular order. And when you compare Jokic's numbers and accomplishments with
those are players that I was talking about. Curry's not top 10. I don't think Curry's top 10. I feel like people are going to put him in top 10, but I don't think he's top 10. But Hakeem, Duncan, Jordan, Wilt, Bird and Magic, they dang near coincide with each other. They get a spot by themselves. Kareem, Kobe, Braun, shit, like, yeah. So he'll have to surpass one of them people. Jesus Christ, look at this. Most rings, of course. Bill Russell, 11, 6, 6, 5, 5, 5, 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 2, 2. That's an if. This was an if because he don't have two. Finals MVP, Wilt and Bill Russell don't have one. Wow. Kobe them only got one MVP. Kobe should have had more. Shaq should have had more. Braun should have had more. Jordan should have had. The MVP part right here, that's that voter fatigue stuff. I can't trust that. Defensive Player of the Year. Oh, dang. You don't need Defensive Player of the Year. First teams, all defenses. Yeah, bruh.
these guys, assuming he pulls off the season
Yo,
Simmons
dog,
described,
you only leading in one
Jokic
side.
clearly belongs in this group, and even ahead of a handful of them. There's only 3 players in NBA history who have more than 4 MVPs. Only 5 players.
But there's more people that we're not even saying on here. So wait, yeah, top 10 gonna be tough. Never mind, top 10 gonna be tough because I don't see KD on here. I don't see Giannis on here. Yeah.
Who have more
Nah,
than
never
2
mind.
Finals MVPs.
What the take is the undisputed part. If he wins another one, it ain't gonna happen, bro. He not getting in that top 10, bro. That top 10 is crazy, and this not even top 10. This top 12.
And in terms of statistical
getting in
impact,
there.
Jokic's numbers are just flat out
That
better
door
than
closed.
anyone's. He's now the all-time leader in virtually every advanced metric.
You gotta go
and
stupid,
increasing
bro.
his
Because
lead
like
on
I
the
said,
field with
KD not
each
even in
season.
this list.
The only thing holding him back from crashing the party at this point is championships. But that is a huge if. Winning a title is the toughest thing.
You said one more. He might need to win 2 more. To get in that top 10, because all them boys got buckets, bro. All them boys got rings, bro. It's a ring game with them.
To do in the sport. Winning an MVP in the same
You
season,
get 3 of them, you undisputed in there.
even rarer. But a
Like I said, KD KD wasn't even on there.
historic season like this may be in the cards for Jokic in 2026. After a busy offseason, the Nuggets have now surrounded Jokic with arguably the best roster he's had in his career. They've added depth at the center spot with Valanciunas, they've bolstered their shooting with Tim Hardaway Jr., and they've upgraded their starting lineup with the addition of Cam Johnson. Moves that have made them one of the favorites to win the title this season, with better odds than they've had in any season since their title run in 2023. And in terms of an MVP, there is no player more perpetual and inevitable than Jokic. The guy always plays, his numbers are insane, and they haven't budged in a half a decade. His team looks to be better, so they're set up nicely to grab a top seed. And after averaging a 30-point triple-double last season and still coming up short in the MVP race, I wouldn't be surprised if the MVP narrative is in his favor this season, similar to what happened in 2024 after losing to Embiid in the previous season. In pretty much any other scenario, it would be comical to hint at a player having a historic season like this. But this is prime Nikola Jokic we're talking about, coming off the best individual season of his career with possibly the best roster of his career. And if he could pull it off, I agree with Bill. He would undeniably be a top 10 player of all time with the likes of Bird and Magic. This is a great take. Now, this next take comes from a fan who says Joel Embiid will go down as the biggest what if in NBA history.
Injuries. Good take.
And although I don't agree with this take, it is nice to see some Embiid appreciation every once in a while. Joel Embiid has been dragged down by injuries about as much as any superstar of the 21st century, even to the extent where the word retirement was being thrown around 18 months after he won an MVP. And after recent physical evaluations, it appears that we will unfortunately never see
He ain't playing no 82
Embiid again. Now, I understand why a lot of people couldn't care less about the man's game. His headache-inducing play style, the annual playoff regression, the fact that he's intentionally ducked Jokic on numerous occasions. There's always something going on with Embiid. But I could recognize these faults and still see that the guy is one of the most dominant forces of his generation. This is a player who averaged 32 and 11 a night for a 4-season stretch, averaged more points than minutes for an entire season. The only player to do this since Wilt Chamberlain. Less than 2 years ago, Embiid had a 23-game stretch where he averaged 40 points a game on 69% true shooting. 40 a game. A stretch that included a 40-piece on Jokic, a 50-piece on Gobert, and a 70-point, 18-rebound bomb on Wemby. When the man is healthy, he is legitimately unguardable. He's also one of the few offensive juggernauts that not only has the capacity to anchor a defense, but is willing to do it. Two-way impact, statistically on par with Jokic.
Now Embiid go crazy. I forgot he put up 70 on Wemby, bro. Oh my God, I forgot he put up set, and that might be on my page.
3-game stretch where he averaged 40 points a game on 69% true shooting. 40 a game.
Embiid is the reason Wemby finna go stupid. He had 33 in that game, but 70. That is a trivia question. Who dropped 70 on Wemby? You're not getting that question right because of how Wemby playing right now. This is something that is a hidden fact.
A stretch that included a 40-piece on Jokic, a 50-piece on Gobert, and a 70-point, 18-rebound bomb on
rookie Wemby.
When the man is healthy, he is legitimately unguardable. He's also one of the few offensive juggernauts that not only has the capacity to anchor a defense, but is willing to do
NBA.
It. Two-way impact, statistically on par with Jokic for consecutive seasons. Somewhere buried under all that foul baiting, showboating, and grifting is a player who could dominate the game without doing any of that. But with that being said, I don't think Embiid can be the biggest what if of all time for all of those reasons. We have already seen him at the peak of his powers for multiple seasons. Insane individual numbers that never culminated into any tangible success in the postseason. Whereas other big what ifs like Derrick Rose and Bill Walton were league MVPs with playoff success, but sustained career-altering injuries before they even hit their peak. They were proven formulas who got hurt the moment they were impacting the league. There's also the what-ifs in the form of players who had all the potential in the world, but got hurt before they could even tap into it.
Brandon
Greg
Roy.
Oden, Penny Hardaway, Brandon Roy, Grant Hill, reduced to a fraction of their abilities so early in their careers, all we were left wondering is what if they hadn't gotten hurt? Having a near career-ending injury just 33 games after hoisting an MVP trophy will certainly get your name thrown into some what-if conversations. But sustaining that injury at 30 is a lot different than sustaining it at 23. For the better part of a decade, we saw the extent to which Embiid could dominate games, so there really isn't much what-if left in the tank. If anything, I would put him in the "it's a shame this guy couldn't stay healthy" category, with players like Tracy McGrady, Kawhi Leonard, Yao Ming, Amari Stoudemire, all-time talents who met their potential but couldn't put it together for more than a season or two at a time without their bodies failing them. Joel Embiid is prolifically underappreciated.
Yeah, I see what he's saying.
Player.
He's saying he not a what if because we done seen it.
But I don't think he's nearly the
not a
biggest what if in NBA history. Now, our last take comes from a fan who says the NBA is too talented, stating that the globalization of the game, the increased talent pool, and the new second apron have made teams impatient and left a lot of NBA caliber players out of a job. And although I understand the sentiment, and the NBA is certainly the most talented it's ever been, I don't think the NBA is too talented. The reason why we're now seeing so many talented, capable players miss out on roster spots is because not only has the floor for NBA talent increased drastically over the last decade, but because teams have also gotten drastically smarter over the last decade.
Okay, so the guy's take is basically we need to expand the NBA league because there's a lot of talent that's out there that's not on the NBA roster. Not gonna lie, we don't need to expand. Let me tell you why. This is one of those types of things where it's like this is the elite of the elite. If you ain't make it, unfortunately, you need to go play somewhere else. If we expand, then whatever team we expand to, them teams gonna be sorry. Them teams gonna be sorry. It always happens like that. In the beginning, those expansion teams are always gonna be sorry. Then they might pick it up later on, but them teams gonna be sorry because now it's gonna be stretched out so much. But this is the elite of the elite. This is the NBA. Yes, it's a lot of talent out there. It's only 450 roster spots. It is what it is. Make a spot. It said, I also saw that it said young players don't get a chance to develop. People find ways. You either got it or you don't. You either got it or you don't. There is people in the NBA right now that went undrafted, that went to the G League first. They got to the NBA. Players that were top 100 in high school and all that ain't make it to the NBA. Oh well, there's people in the league right now that were undrafted, that came from G League and got called up and got them contracts. Hey, get it how you get it.
Talent alone, for the most part, is no longer enough to keep a spot in the league. Organizations are now prioritizing things like fit and a player's role and how they can contribute and blend into a system over sheer talent and skill set.
Some franchises are getting smart.
And regardless of how talented you are, unless you're a superstar, if you aren't a good fit, you won't have a place in the league. This has led to a lot of ultra-talented players completely sitting out of lineups or getting relegated to the G League or overseas, and fans asking, how is that guy not in the league? And the answer usually isn't that they weren't good enough. It's that they weren't a good fit. The inverse of this is also true. Players of lesser talent can end up getting roster spots these days because they may have a specific skill set that fits what a team needs, and they're willing to play into that role. There used to be a time where you could say with confidence that the most talented basketball players in the world were all in the NBA. In fact, before the boom of foreign talent in an expansion league, you could argue that there was a time where the NBA had more roster spots than there were NBA caliber players. But this is no longer the case. Today, there are more players with NBA talent than there are NBA jobs, and more NBA level players not in the NBA than ever before. And while the talent pool continues to grow seemingly exponentially, the number of roster spots has stayed the same. But you can still find examples today of players who are so talented, DeAndre Ayton, Russell Westbrook, Ben Simmons, and on the upper end, Jordan Poole, D'Angelo Russell, Zach LaVine, that teams are more than happy to pay up and have them on their roster, regardless of if their playstyle or skill set is conducive to the system. And this approach just isn't good enough to win games in today's NBA. And I think as teams continue to get smarter, we'll see less of this and see even more talent leak out of the NBA. Recently on his podcast, Jaylen Brown had a great take on this.
There's so many talented players that are not in the NBA. NBA, I don't think, is the best talent in the world currently right now. They're taking like the utility guy draft approach, where they just drafting guys that they know are not going to be stars, but will be great role players to develop. So the actually most talented players, it's a lot of talented guys that's not in the NBA right now.
I agree with that.
The game has changed. I think in the 90s and the 2000s, the best players was in the league. Nowadays, in the 2020s, that is not the case.
Talent will always be the great.
I don't know if I like that take. I don't like that take.
Of the NBA. It decides who gets a chance and who doesn't. But fit and cohesion are more important now than ever before. So I don't think the NBA is too talented. Teams have just shifted their priorities, and talent alone is no longer enough to make it in the league. But I can appreciate this take, and let me know what you think. Share your hot takes in the comments below. And as always, the hotter, the better.
He's done it again. You got an NBA hot take? Let me know it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. Peace.